Hello and welcome. This is Recruitment and Selection Process Analysis with Group D. The table of contents consists of a basic introduction of the recruitment and selection process, a background or a basic background on the article itself, and the meaning of applicant attribution reaction theory, the study design and the analysis of critical aspects of the recruitment selection process, and finally, findings, discussions, and recommendations. Hello and welcome. This is Mariel Hammadi with Group D about recruitment and selection process analysis. First off, I want to start with an introduction or a basic introduction to recruitment and the recruitment and selection process. So the process of recruitment and selection is very complicated, but it is very essential, and it's a vital factor of HR management in a given organization all around the world. Such factors such as technological advances, economic rates that are increasing and decreasing, and environments that are always changing rapidly, employers are required to adapt and to become flexible to all these changes in these modern times. So the process of recruitment and selection, it impacts and it affects the overall efficient and effectiveness of the whole company. Okay, and there are many different methods of selection that can be studied, that can be analyzed. Okay, for example, conducting research to determine the relationship between the chosen candidate and their performance rate on the job, or developing the interviewing procedure, providing interviewer training. Next, I want to talk about a real-life example about recruitment and selection that was studied in 2008 in the US with over 200 hiring professionals, which are employers, and they found out that actually 3-to-1 ratio that hiring managers approved and adhered to subjective hiring decisions. Now, what is subjective hiring decisions? Basically, it is when a manager relies on selecting employees subjectively. So they favor employees they personally like or are biased to, or employees who are similar to themselves in different factors like nationality, economic status, or personality. Next, I want to talk just about some additional notes. Furthermore, we'll investigate the general ideas of the employee selection process that can affect the choice depending on the viewpoint and the position of the hiring member or employers. Okay, and we will do an overview of the analysis divided into two sections, each representing the viewpoint of the hiring member and the applicant separately. Second of all, I want to talk about the background on this article, and I want firstly to analyze what the article used. So basically in the article, the quantitative component was used, which includes close-ended survey questions, open-ended, in-person, detailed interview questions, and observations are combined. So basically the article used not only quantitative, it also used qualitative, and it used mixed methods such as convergent, parallel, and concurrent design. So the article based its hypothesis or its information on mixed methods, both quantitative and qualitative. Secondly, I want to talk about applicant attribution reaction theory. So applicant attribution reaction theory was made by Polyhart and Harold in 2004, and it was developed by the applicant attribution reaction theory in accordance with these recommendations, positioning the applicants' attributions regarding their selection or rejection. For example, lack of qualifications or a biased interviewer. This impacts their perceptions and behavioral consequences. So how does the applicant attribution theory works? Basically, there are 6 steps, and I will explain them to you in very basic sentences. First off, they start we start by analyzing the applicant's perception from the process. So their experience, such as, for example, it was too stressful or was positive, unfavorable, or surprising. Second, we gather the applicant's interpretation of the emotion, seeking the cause of that feeling. Third, we compare the applicant's experience with the rules of justice. So we match and compare with their rules and their values of justice. Fourthly, we explore whether justice was maintained or not. Five, we gather applicants' responses to the outcome along with reasons. And then lastly, we determine the applicant's reactions to the actions in the course of the selection process in accepting or rejecting the job offer or rejection. I will hand over the study design to my colleague and my good friend Reem.
Hello, my name is Reem. I will talk about empirical study design. We studied a survey to find possible important factors in hiring employees. We looked at questions for both the people hiring and the job applicants. These questions were about their personal experience during interviews. Hello, my name is Hajar and I will talk about the analysis of critical aspects for the recruitment and selection process. A strategic selection process enhances the hiring experience for both managers and candidates by understanding job descriptions and using legally compliant interview questions. Organization can improve their interviewing methods. The process effectiveness depends on the interview's ability to gather and integrate both factual and subjective candidates' information. Careful planning is crucial for an efficient and valued selection system. Second, the staff selection process involves key elements that affect hiring personnel and candidates. Analyzing factors like feedback, panel engagement, interview question importance, length, and basis helps generate insight for improving the selection process.
So here is an overview of key recruitment and selection challenges. The first one is bringing in the correct talent or finding the right people. It's hard to reach a diverse group of candidates when relying on the same networks and job boards. The second one is speed versus quality. Rushing to fill jobs can lead to hiring less suitable candidates because of limited time to review properly. And the last one is implicit biases. Even with tools and structured interviews, biases can still affect who gets hired, especially people from underrepresented groups. Now I'll talk about recruitment methods, strengths and weaknesses. Traditional hiring methods, the strength of it has well-known networks, reliable methods like job boards and recommendations, and the weaknesses of it is limited reach, over reliance on local talent, and less diversity. For the modern hiring methods, the strength is wider reach, more diverse candidates, use of social media like LinkedIn and AI. The weaknesses of it is algorithms can increase bias, raise privacy concerns, and lack of personal interaction. For selection tools and their effectiveness, first we have interviews. The challenges of it is bias from the interviewer, inconsistent scoring, and focusing too much on charm over skills. Also, structured interviews improve fairness and objectivity. The second one is psychometric tests. The challenges of it's often questioned for accuracy in predicting job performance. And the last one is assessment centers. The challenges of it's effective but expensive and time consuming, so often overlooked by companies. Lastly, candidate experience and employer branding. The candidate experience difficulties as long wait times, poor communication, No feedback hurt the candidate's experience, and the impact is poor treatment leads to negative reviews, damaging the company's reputation. For employer branding, the challenges is hiring process reflects the company's values and culture. A bad experience can harm the brand and repel top talent. Also, failing to showcase the company's strengths during recruitment can cause employers to miss out on great candidates.
Findings. Interview length. According to the study, candidates value fair length interviews. Candidates who were neither successful or failed agreed that interviews should not be too long or too short. Tests like the Pearson Chi-square, Kendall-Towey, and Gamma test revealed that the length of the interview had a big impact on the applicant experience. Bias in hiring. Candidates want bias, gender, race, and ethnicity in interviews to be eliminated, and there is statistical evidence to support this. The detrimental impact of bias was more pronounced for rejected applicants. Training and feedback. While both unsuccessful and successful applicants emphasize the need of a constructive criticism, the former placed a greater emphasis on it. A structured interview training program was cited by hiring members, and this was considered to be crucial for process development. Discussion. The study shows that hiring members and applicants alike acknowledge important vital factors. Such interview length lack bias, constructive criticism, and interviewer training. These components were discovered to be consistent with theories of talent acquisitions. The research found consistency in identifying the factor that contributes to an efficient selection process. Despite divergent perspective based on the result of interviews, in addition, the study implies that a number of hiring members did not have formal interview training, which represent a deficiency in guaranteeing improved interviews results. Recommendation. Broader research to obtain more comprehensive insight into recruitment procedures. The study recommends extended future research with a larger sample size and more representative individuals from other organizations. Training. To guarantee impartiality and effectiveness in the hiring procedure, interviewers must receive official training. Improve selection process. Improving applicant experience and recruitment outcomes prioritizes addressing bias and making sure that interviews last a fair amount of time. Further investigation may reveal more significant elements influencing hiring.